Going on, Laser Nudie here playing more RuneScape Dragonwilds. Welcome to our Daily Gaming XP Grind episode 80. So, today we're going to be working on rune crafting. Now, we don't have as many, I guess, essence on the ground, but basically we still wanted to get working on this and just go ahead and get a little bit of XP in rune crafting. As we work on cooking quite a bit, so we really wanted to sort of shift our focus and work on something else. And we have a couple areas that got quite a bit of rune essence on the ground, but obviously we don't have near as much as we normally do. Well, I figured it would be nice to sort of break it up. But after reading the article of when different things are going to be coming to the game, I think there's quite a bit of exciting things that are coming. And obviously, I think it's going to be the beginning of October, we're actually going to be seeing the cooking changes coming to the game, which should be a 1-to-1 ratio, it looks like, for some of the things, which is going to be very helpful for getting our cooking XP out of the way. And then when you're looking at other things, it talked about when Fell Hollow would come to the game, and basically we're looking at the beginning of December, potentially middle of December. So obviously I'm hoping for a beginning of December. I think that would actually work out quite a lot better just because of the holidays coming. It would be quite nice to be able to basically focus more on the holidays rather than having to, because I'm going to be spending quite a bit of time on the game, so it would be nice to be able to spend a bulk amount of time basically not necessarily having to grind quite as much around the holiday. But obviously we've got range coming really quick here, so we're quite excited about that. But I think obviously Fell Hollow is the big update, right? It's the giant one. And then in the beginning of the year, then there's obviously going to be another really big update, which is going to be, it looks like, a new part of the map, and also some other updates are going to be coming with that, which we have little bit of limited information regarding that, but really excited, and I just wish it was already here so I could really dive in. But I guess it's kind of good that it's not, because this gives me an opportunity to focus on all the other different things in the game that I still need to sort of work out, which is basically getting 1,000,000 rune crafting XP, potentially getting about 500,000 cooking XP, and once they change the rate to 1-to-1 ratio, I think it'll be a lot easier to actually obtain the cooking experience I want in my progression. And also, once they start coming out with updates, it's going to be a lot easier to basically figure out what is going to be required to get to the next level once they raise the cap. And obviously that could easily change once it gets to the higher levels, but it'll give us a little bit more of a baseline and open up a lot of other abilities that I'm going to be able to use. The only one that's really going to probably struggle is going to be range, because obviously it will be the newest skill and we won't have quite as much to go with. Hopefully, Fell Hollow, we see a skill increase cap, and I think we have to, because basically you're going to be adding willows to the game and lots of other different things, right? New ore and things like that. So it's going to require it. So it makes sense, and really excited about that. I really think they're just going to keep it with the update. So I know we talked a little bit about how much they would actually increase the levels, but I think potentially 10 levels really makes sense. So I think that's really what we're going to be looking at, which is going to be plenty. I think it's going to keep us really busy and allow us to gather and collect things. But we're only going to have, every time they do come out with an update that sort of increases a new item or resource, you're going to basically slowly level up the progression. So in as far as skill cap increase, but so obviously I quite like that, and then it will give me even more reason to grind heavily to reach those goals. Certain ones I'm not going to really have to worry about. I've already sort of laid out the groundwork and put in the time and effort, so I should be able to pretty much partake in everything up to potentially level 80. I'm not entirely sure yet, because we don't know what the XP is going to look like for that, and I know you're going to get more XP for new resources, but I'm not sure how much XP. And I think that's all going to sort of line in with the fact of basically just because it's a new item and it's going to give more XP doesn't mean it's going to be easier to obtain whatever it is. So yes, better XP, but maybe not necessarily entirely faster. It's going to be very interesting to see how many monsters are around different resources, and if you potentially have to kill monsters to get those resources. I think that would fall in line really well Obviously could be quite a bit irritating. I know that like higher level resources are probably going to have to require some sort of great dangers like runite, or I'm not sure. I could have swore I remember them talking about dragon ore, but I'm not 100% sure. I've read so many articles on the game, and there's been so much information sort of let out over the course of time. So I think it's just going to be quite interesting to ultimately keep track of that and see what they decide to do. But I think that would be crazy to basically have dragon items in the game. And also, it's interesting because I think that it's just what's it all going to look like? And I know that they were talking about making a level requirement for items, which I really heavily agree with. And it's just going to be very interesting to see how all that sort of plays out. And basically, uh, I mean, I know that in, I think it was the video that they did, they basically said, yes, we've put all these items into the game, but we're not necessarily done with them. We just want to show you guys that we could actually do this and what it would sort of look like. So that I guess we would have faith in their abilities. And obviously, so far, I think that we can honestly say we do have faith in their ability and what they can bring to the game. So I think once they release the requirements, I'm not really worried about requirements. Obviously, I think I'm in a pretty good situation where everything's pretty much set up for me, and I'm actually quite happy. So obviously, I put in a tremendous amount of work, so that way I could partake in things when they come to the game and really benefit from them. So we're just really excited about all of it. Potentially pets are going to be coming to the game. I'm not 100% sure what I remember about when they said that was going to happen, but I think that could be a little bit interesting. Hopefully it doesn't overcomplicate things, hopefully, but we'll have to wait and see. I know that they were talking about range a little bit and how they want to have an ability where potentially sometimes you basically could get back some of your arrows that you shoot, something like that. I think maybe based on your level. I don't quite remember everything I read about that, but I think that would be quite cool. But then again, I'm not necessarily worried about getting arrows because they're so easy to make. So maybe bolts, it might be a little bit different. Obviously, bolts, that's going to be a fun one to make for the new crossbows. I think that's actually going to be quite cool to test out that new weapon and obviously the ammo that goes with it. We accidentally grabbed an ash log, so we don't really need any more of those, but whatever. So we got a little bit of woodcutting XP there. I noticed I forgot to do an XP update at the beginning of the video, but don't worry, because when the video is over, we are going to be doing an XP update just to sort of see where we are. There's a thing of rune essence way down the hill over there. I really don't want to go get it. I don't think it's worth it. It's just one. So we obviously still got a quest to finish before Valhalla comes to the game. We're not really concerned about that. There's a couple that roll down the hill there. But obviously that's a lot of work to just go grab a couple of nodes. I don't think it's really worth it. So we are going to blast some more rune essence here. But you can see we haven't even really stockpiled that much on the ground. And it still takes quite a bit of time to gather all this. So that's why I think that now we're going to get attacked. How ridiculous. But yes, that's why I don't really mind that I waited a little bit longer. I mean, I didn't wait as long to gather this because ultimately there's plenty on the ground. So we're going to teleport away from here. We don't really want to deal with all that right now. We're not really trying to have anything extra in our inventory. And basically, it's just a progression. Just grinding the game constantly. But at least it's enjoyable. It's a little bit therapeutic. And I quite enjoy it. So exciting. Look at all the trees I've cut down in the distance. You can see them. There literally is, except I think there's two up there. I don't think I can cut those down. The roots sort of go into the ground and into the hillside. And it might be these two right here, actually. I think those are actually the two. And then again, the ones in the distance you're seeing right there might actually just be a glitch. Sometimes it shows trees that actually aren't there anymore. So I'm not entirely sure. But basically, I can't get them. It's quite irritating because I was trying to go for a clean look. But I think it's pretty a pretty good look. And obviously, what I was trying to achieve is done. Sort of change the entire geography or geographic of the game. There was basically a just a lag. I'm not sure what happened, so it's a little bit weird. So let's go ahead and grab the rest of this rune essence. It just takes so much time, but we do have 1174 rune essence, so obviously it's quite crazy. But just got to keep progressing. And so many of these rune essence have fell off the cliff. I know I've tried to look down there before to see, but I don't really see them, but I know they're down there. Imagine over time, if they sort of piled up, would they sort of make a giant mountain? Obviously, that would take probably years to really have something like that happen. Hopefully, when it's down there, it's not like that. Hopefully, it just sort of disintegrates into the game because I don't want that to slow the game down itself for having just a million resources on the ground. I feel like this is weird. They're sort of spawning in as we're getting here, but it sort of works out because I feel like then at least we're able to get a little bit more rune essence while we're out here. So weird. I guess my rune crafting potion expired and I didn't realize it was that close. It's quite nice how the way I've laid out my little path here, I don't really have to worry about too many monsters trying to fight us, which makes it quite nice. Can't quite believe I'm on 80 episodes. I feel like I just started playing the game yesterday. Time's an interesting thing for sure. It just sort of seems like age. It just time flies the older you get, which you hear a lot from, I guess older folk, but it's so true. And it just sort of blasts by. But not a lot really new going on, I guess. I mean, obviously there's new updates coming to the game and we're really excited about them. And we're also really excited about our XP progression. I think we're making great strides in the game as far as we've come along and where we're headed. So it's just going to be really interesting to see all the new cool things to experience in the game. And then also, obviously, something we talk about quite a bit is what's it going to look like at level 70, 60, whatever level. Like, what is the XP requirement? What's it going to be? And I'm pretty sure we're fine. But really, I'm more so concerned about the higher levels and what they decided to make those requirements. So, it's crazy. I think about it quite often and whether or not we have enough XP. I'm pretty sure, like, mining and artisan, we're going to be quite fine. It's more so, like, wood cutting and things like that where I don't have quite as much XP if we're going to be okay. It's nighttime here, so I can expect to see some creatures here potentially. I do. There they are. They're all here. And we've got a ranger trying to kill us. So unfortunately, we can't even deal with those right now because it's nighttime. I think what we're going to do is go back to our base, go to sleep, and they should all disappear, which is going to knock out our rune crafting potion, which is a little bit unfortunate. And if we look over here, it looks like the rune essence didn't actually respawn. So that's good. It's good for the fact that, obviously, it just never ending. But once it's done, and the only time we really need to mess around with rune essence is if we need more XP or potentially need to make more runes. But I plan to leave myself in a really good position, basically where I've got thousands sitting in a bank, and if I ever need to make anything, I'll have enough. But I feel like through playing the game, I use quite a bit of law rune. I think that's the one I use the most. I used to use a lot of nature's. Used to use a lot of cosmics. It's not cosmic, is it? It's astral, that's right. And I was using that a lot when I was doing construction because I used to use the tool that lets you sort of have the aerial first-person view. But I wish it was funner to actually hunt out here. This is a great place, though. Look at all the food. You've got all these sheep. You've got no ram, just sheep. And you've got all these onions. So many onions. You've got a little bit of dwellberries. So this is actually potentially a really good place to collect food. Oh, you got the terror birds and the deer, but the only problem with it is if you're out here near dark, you're obviously going to have to deal with lots of creatures. So that's obviously not going to be a fun thing. But let's go ahead. So I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to break this into two parts. We're going to grab all the rune essence, which is still going to take us quite some time. We're going to do an XP update, and then we're just going to take all the essence and leave that for another episode in the future where we can just sort of make a bulk amount of runes. And the reason is because obviously we've talked about this before. This is a very time length thing. It takes quite a bit of time to gather all these. But I think we're coming to a close here and we're actually quite close to finishing this run. So I didn't know why they respawned. I feel like we just shot all these down. And we could have easily added more rune essence to our path, But we talked about that, I believe, more than once. Basically, it already takes so long just to get all these gathered. And obviously, we want to make it to the point where it's not only bearable to watch, basically, because it's such a long journey, but it's also tolerable for us because we've got to sort of grind this out and make sure that we're doing it in a way that's still fun to play. So we're getting close here. We're getting close. Just got a couple more to get, and then we're going to be able to do our XP update. It's interesting. I like how realistic it is when they fall out of the sky and they sort of just land everywhere, but at the same time, it's sort of unfortunate the way they just roll everywhere. So we've got that archer over there. We're going to have to be careful. Obviously, don't want to get killed or attacked by him. Obviously, he's not going to kill us because we can defend ourselves. So let's go ahead and gather the rest of this rune essence, so that way we can take care of that. But so many dwellberries, it's so hard to just walk around in the game. And I think the reason for that is we've sort of made it really difficult because we're trying to work on cooking and all these resources would be greatly beneficial to us. So it's really hard to just walk by them knowing we want to pick them all up. But we're so close to grabbing the rest of the rune essence. And that's obviously exciting. I gotta find the last place. It's got a ridiculous amount of rune essence. I think we're gonna have to kill this ram. He's not gonna let us pass, so it's unfortunate. We're gonna have a little bit of weird material in our inventory, but we're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep progressing. It's so ridiculous. Look how many sheep and ram there are out there. I've run into so many animals, and it's quite frustrating. Because obviously, normally I'd be out here killing them and really excited about it. And now I don't really get to do that. I've sort of got to focus on what I'm working on. And so I'm not really prioritizing everything. I can't. I have to basically prioritize what I'm working on. So I miss out on all those sheep and ram, which is an insane amount out there right now. They're even up there on that side on the left. So let's go ahead and grab this. I believe we've only got about 3 more locations to go. So not too bad. Maybe 4. I mean, there's always more. We can always find more areas to go. But like I said, I try to keep it where it's a little bit tolerable because I've obviously got to collect all these and it takes a considerable amount of time. We're going to have to make more rune crafting potions as well, as it appears that we're sort of running out. But we've got so much rune essence. Obviously, over the course of time, once I finish getting my rune crafting XP, I don't really necessarily think I'll really touch it much, just to, like I stated, make certain things. And it looks like we accidentally got rid of our food. That's because it was the dwellberries, and it sort of put it inside the, so much rune essence, it's everywhere. I guess I sort of miscalculated. I guess we'll go get this really quick, even though I'm not super stoked about it. It's important because there's quite a bit here, and then there's some on the ground. So let's go ahead and shoot it down so we can see where it's going to go. And then we'll go from there. Oh, we got wolves out here. This is really rare. I guess we're going to kill some wolves really quick. Just because, obviously, they're here. And they're just going to bother us. So now we've got those. And let's go ahead and go up here. That's the pile I want. I'm going to get these. I'm going to get those by the... I guess it's a Slayer Master, if I'm not mistaken. But he obviously doesn't offer Slayer tasks. I could swear he's the Slayer task giver in the other RuneScape. So let's go ahead and grab the rest of this rune essence so we can get back to our base and then do an XP update. But obviously we are having a lot of fun with the game. Some of it's just grindy. And that's actually just the way we like it. So let's go ahead and grab this. I'll grab this. We're going to go here and grab this. And then we are going to go grab the... I guess we'll just say Slayer Master, even if I'm wrong. And then we are going to basically go back to our base and do an XP update. There's a little bit of essence over there we could get. But I don't think it's really that big of a deal. We could save it for another time. It's not going to hurt anything. Obviously, we've done quite a bit already in this episode. So many sheep and ram. It's really frustrating to basically walk away from it. I feel like it's just unfortunate because we don't like to do that. So, alright, let's do this. Okay, we've got it. And then we're going to go over here. I really hate leaving that. It's really tough for me. But anyway, let's go over here. Grab the rest of this. Then we're going to go back to our base and do an XP update. Is my blast ready? 27 seconds. I must have used it like really, really recent, like at the end of that little trip. That's weird. But anyway, let's go ahead and grab this. There's quite a bit here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying your time in RuneScape Dragonwilds. Not sure what you're working on. Maybe you're just sort of getting ready for the update, Fell Hollow. Maybe you're getting XP in your skills. Maybe you're sort of just enjoying the environment in the game, which I think they did a really good job. So hopefully you guys are enjoying your time as much as I am. And I know everyone's excited about the updates to come. So here we go. Almost done. It feels so accomplishing or sort of gratifying to basically finally finish and get it done. So let's go ahead and see. Also, while I've got you here, you know what? We'll talk about that next time because I feel like I'm not sure how many people actually get to the end. And obviously there's something really cool I was going to talk about, but we'll wait till next time just because we're so far in the video. I want to make sure that it gets highlighted. So I think there might be some, I don't remember. But basically, the short version, if you've made it this far, of what we're going to be talking about is what we've been doing in the game. And you can see a lot of my chests have been moved. So there is definitely something going on, but I can't really talk about it right now. But we will. So let's go ahead and drop all these in here. So that's quite a bit of rune essence. We've got all this extra stuff too that we had inside of our personal storage chest. We'll drop this in our food pouch. We're going to do an XP update really quick. So attack, 305,782. Woodcutting, 1,001,450. Construction, 2,010,971. Rune crafting, 649,998. So there's just so much XP. Was so close actually to 1,000,000. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but I can feel the progression and it feels so good. It's such an accomplishment. So we've got magic at 101,681, mining at 4,113,211, artisan at 4,094,357, and cooking at 270,195. So you can see we're slowly progressing and working towards our goal. But anyway, guys, we really hope you guys are enjoying our content. And until next time, Legion Order out.